Hello again and welcome to the VA. This orientation is meant to help you get started with pulmonary function tests and HOMO2 test interpretations. As far as PFTs, these will come into your queue on CPRS within your view alerts. These need to be interpreted the same day. If you want to, you can apply for remote access so that you can VPN into the VA system and work on these at home. They should not sit pending overnight. Your attending is required to have the final PFT interpretation in by 24 hours after the PFT was collected. So it's important for you to get your portion done so that we can get our portion done. Now, these are the steps on how to enter your PFT interpretation. Please ask questions when you first come over, but this should be at least an initial guide. To start, you click and open a pending PFT in your CPRS view alert list or queue. Once you have the consult open, next open Vista Imaging to view the PFT itself. To do this, click Tools at the top of the screen and then find Vista Imaging. Click on the Vista Imaging title and this will take you to the patient's scanned records. Now if you have the pending PFT open in CPRS, Vista Imaging will take you directly to the scanned record associated with that PFT. However, if you do not have them open or there's a communication problem between CPRS and Vista, you may have to find the right PFT based on the date of completion. The next step is to right-click on the CPRS PFT and click Edit Note. This will allow you to do one of two things, either free text your interpretation or use a template to complete your interpretation. The template is available under Shared Templates, and that would be found on the left side of your CPRS screen. To access the template, go to Pulmonary and then PFT and ABG interpretation template. Once you're completed with the templated dialog box questions, you would click OK, and then you can complete your note with or without the template after it populates into the actual note. And many times you'll want to edit that dialog box templated note once it's in actual text on your screen. Once that's done, you're going to right-click and save without signature and do not sign. If you sign it, it makes it final so that we can't go in and edit your interpretation and have it read without mistakes. Otherwise, we have to go in and figure out a way to addend your notes. So save without signature, do not sign. Now, home oxygen evaluations are the opposite. So in these, you'll open the home oxygen evaluation note, similar to the way that you open the pulmonary function test through your CPRS view alerts. And then you'll right-click to edit note, and that's when you'll add your interpretation. And then when you're done with these, you sign these. That signature sends the note to your attending, who will then co-sign the note. If you don't sign it, we don't know that it's done, and we won't sign off on it. These also need to be completed within 24 hours, and the interpretation typically looks something like, this study indicates the need for 1 liter of oxygen at rest and 3 liters of oxygen with exertion. As far as the whole study, oftentimes they'll include an ABG. Those ABGs should be interpreted as well when they're present. So you may say this patient has a chronic respiratory acidosis with metabolic compensation. The attendings will help you get your footing with these, just like the pulmonary function tests. Finally, You'll be reading the PFTs and HOMO2 evals with your attending based on a PFT and home oxygen interpretation schedule found in the team room. Please ask questions. We want you to learn how to read PFTs well. It's often best for you to write down a name and last four and bring a list of patients that you had questions on to us whenever the time is right for you and for your attending to discuss the PFTs. Don't expect the attending to seek you out. We will tend to read these and find errors that you made and come back and talk to you about what you did well and what some of the things that you need to change your practice to correct mistakes are. But if you have specific questions that you want to ask, you'll need to bring them to us so that we can discuss those. Finally, very importantly, if you're transitioning off service or going on vacation, then we need you to remind the techs of this occurrence. So even if you're just going from an expected conclusion of the month to your next rotation, you still need to remind Paris, and Fred is no longer doing these, but Paris and Debbie and Jenny are the home oxygen folks, that they need to send studies to whoever the next person is when you leave for the month, or when you leave for vacation to the ICU fellow. It's much easier to handle it this way if you tell them before you leave than to have studies sent to you that are pending in your inbox after you've already left the facility, and then you're going to have to figure out when to come back to read those. Thank you again. We're looking forward to having you at the VA.